Hey, what's going on? Welcome. Welcome. Hey, this is day number 2
That's right.
to the 100 offer challenge. How you doing, Mike?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Oh, I'm excited. Hopefully our volume and we're not overpowering this mic because I'm almost shouting right now. I'm so excited about this. This is day 2. I mean, I'm just seeing the feedback that we're getting in the Facebook group, on the comments and the videos. People are doing their homework, and
Yes,
they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome!" These little small wins
that's right.
are really important. So I wanted to ask you guys right now, whether you're watching this live or in the future, type in the comments right now. Have you done your homework? Say, type in yes or type in homework. Type it in. We want to just say hi too. Tell us where you're from, where you're watching us from. The comments are going to start. Oh, here they come. And wow, awesome.
Yeah, I've
All
seen
right.
multiple that say, I've got my list. There's a yes, homework done. This is awesome.
Yes. So you did your homework. Type in the chat.
Love it.
And if you didn't do your homework yet, type in the chat. I'm going to do it. What was our homework last week? We'll review it here in just a second, but it was just get a list. We're going to be taking massive, imperfect action. Are you going to pick the perfect county, the perfect market? No, but that's okay. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for progress.
That's right.
We're just taking baby steps. That's the whole point of this offer challenge. Let's keep it really simple. Let's keep it easy. We're not going to get overwhelmed at all, are we? No. We're going to make simple baby steps, progress, not perfection. We're talking massive, massive, imperfect action. That's how you learn. That's how you get out of your comfort zone. You're going to be like, yes, okay, you know what? I'm a big boy. I'm a big girl. I can do this. All right. I'm just going to pick a market, and let's go. Let's go. So stop over analyzing everything and let's just pick a market. Today, we're going to be talking about making offers, and we're going to show you the hard way and the easy way, and the easiest, craziest, easiest way to make offers. All right. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. So buckle in. I want to ask you guys one question here first before we get started. And I want you to really take this seriously. And I really, really love seeing the comments going on right now in the chat. This is important, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or in the membership site or whatever. Are you all in? Or are you just half in? Are you like, yeah, Joe, I'm all in? Or am I just kind of dipping my toes? If you're just dipping your toes in the water and trying to feel if it's going to be warm enough, we're kind of wasting each other's time, to be honest, right? So I want you to type in the chat right now, I am all in, or just type in the words all in. I'm all in. The time is now, right? I am done being a student. I am an investor. Sometimes I like to call people or like to tell people, are you a broke Joe or a rich Joe? Like, it's time to make decisions today. Are you a broke Joe or a rich Joe? Are you a broke Joe that's too afraid to make offers? That's too afraid to like do the homework or take any action because you're asking all of these what if questions. You're worried about steps 7 and 8 before you start doing steps 1 and 2. Or are you like, you know what? Darn it. I'm all in. I'm all in. This is me. I'm a rich Joe. You need to make that decision right now in your mind. This whole thing is like 20% tactical, 80% mindset. The most important investment you'll ever make in real estate is the 4 inches between your ears, as they say.
That's right.
So if you're all in right now, type in the chat, I'm all in. Let's go. Yes. Tessa's asking, are you going to teach us everything? Yeah. Yeah, you're in the right place. We're going to teach you. Day 1 was how to pick a list, how to pick a market. We did that. Today, we're going to be talking about how to make offers. And then we're actually going to send offers tomorrow. So this is very, very simple. We're taking baby steps. And you know what? It's okay if you make a mistake. Let's say, okay, Mike, can I just say something? I'm kind of going on too long on this intro, but let me just say one thing here.
Yep.
So many of you guys are afraid to make mistakes. You're afraid to make an offer because what if I make a bad offer? What if the seller says no? What if the seller says yes? You know, and if you go into this spiral of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And you get scared and nervous, you're never going to take any action. You're never going to be moving forward. I was saying yesterday, I was a professional student for 3 years before I finally started making money. And so you need to stop asking the what if this happens, what if that happens, and just start saying what next? What next? What's the next thing that I have to do? Those are our most successful clients, the most successful investors that I ever work with and that I coach, that I see doing deals today. They're not what if people. They're what next. They're not worried about steps 7, 8. They're just focused on steps 1 and 2. And so today is step 1 and 2. And we're going to decide today, let's go. I am all in. I'm going to take massive imperfect action. I'm not worried about, listen, this is what I was going to say. And then I'm done talking and Mike will go from here. Okay.
You're good. You're good.
Let's say you make an offer, right? And the seller accepts it. That doesn't mean you have to do the deal, right? It doesn't mean you can't renegotiate a lower price if you have to. And I've done this tons of times. I send the seller an offer and they say, yeah, okay. And then they call me back and I say, you know what? I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I can't offer that anymore. I'm going to have to offer this. That's it. It's not a big deal. So, and most of the time, your offers are going to be good. But once in a while, yeah, not a big deal. You just tell them, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. I'm sorry. Move on. Send them another offer or just follow up with them. So don't be afraid to make offers. That's the big thing I want to drive home with you right now, right? You're not a broke Joe. You guys are rich Joes. You are all in. You've already said that you're all in. So let's not be afraid to make offers. We're going to make 100 offers on this challenge. Are you kidding me? I so wish, Mike, I would have had this when I started doing real estate.
Yeah, right.
15 years ago? My coaches were telling me to make offers, but nobody was challenging me and pushing me like this.
Right.
Make 100 offers? Are you serious? Yeah. We're going to show you how to do that. It's very, very simple and easy. All right.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go.
Do it. Hey, team, I love seeing the comments. Joe, I'm glad you brought that up. What if? The what if part of your brain, we talked about it yesterday, shut it off. And here's just what I want to add. If you're just now finding the challenge, and if you're just now joining, I saw one comment, I think it was from Brad. He said, didn't get my homework done last night, but it's going to get done today. So team, here's what I'm telling you. If you're just now finding the challenge, you have plenty of time tonight to do steps 1 and 2. All right, because we're using technology here. None of this homework requires 3-4 hours of your time, including today, including tomorrow, including Thursday. All right. What we're talking about throughout this whole challenge are a couple of simple systems. All right. Some of them on the human side, some of them on the technology side, but we are not trying to add 4 or 5 hours a day to your life. That's just not going to happen this week. Right. We're going to talk about an efficient method on how to get these offers out the door. And what's so cool about this is the system you're going to learn this week, you can go do next week. And then the week after that, and then the month after that, and you start to build this pattern. And it's not magic and it's not pixie dust. And then the pipeline starts to fill. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And you could have your kids do it for you.
You
we're
totally
talking
could.
about, you could have your, I don't know, 8-year-old, maybe. Depends on how smart they are. You could have your kids do this for you. Just have your kids watch these videos later on, as long as you're a VIP. So make sure you get a VIP. We're going to give you the link in a minute here.
Yep.
But yeah, this is so simple and easy. When we show this to you, you could have your kids do it for you. Grandkids, nephews. All right.
100%. All right, here we go. Quick review of day 1. Today, you are going to see manual versus automated come to the forefront. Many of you already grabbed Market Analyzer yesterday after the quick little preview that we did right at the end. That was a great decision. Many more of you are going to get it today because you're going to see what automation looks like and the power of it. It's going to be on full display today. All right. So manual versus automated. Your list should be built. Again, if you're a little bit behind, if it's not, you have plenty of time tonight to build your list, homework from yesterday, and do the homework from today to get caught up. All right. And I want you, if you remember the buckets, bucket number 1, window shoppers, right? I saw the comments. These aren't from window shoppers. These are from people that are fired up and ready to go. Bucket number 2, the water testers. And then bucket number 3 are the action takers, team. I had you decide yesterday, and you're going to, right? This is a daily decision to take action. You're going to decide again today that you're in bucket number 3, the action taking group. All right. 2 links. We showed these yesterday. I'm going to show them again. If you don't have your access to FreedomSoft set up yet, and you're going to need it for the homework, joemccall.com/VIP. Take care of that Immediately after we're done, jot that down. I want you to pay attention to what we're talking about, but immediately when we're done, joemccall.com/VIP, the market analyzer, which I told you is going to be, we did a quick preview yesterday. It's going to be on full display today, and how it can generate offers for you. Quick sneak peek to where we're going today. joemccall.com/fast. All right. So /VIP/fast. Hang on to those links. Okay. Quick review. No offers equals no money. No action equals no result. I know those are no-brainer comments, but the mental side of this challenge is the foundation of it. And so we're going to hit it every single day. We're talking about simplicity. We're talking about having a system and how we can then scale that through technology and potentially through personnel. All right. And you're going to see how all of this unfolds in the next couple of days. We talked about the need for opportunities, and we built 2 lists yesterday. One list with houses, one list with land. All right. So we have opportunities. Number 2, a pricing formula. Welcome to day 2. We're going to roll out the pricing formula. And then number 3, you're going to see technology built all through this week in this challenge. All right. Today, we're answering a simple question. How much do I offer? You show up at the 100 offer challenge saying, okay, we're going to make offers. That's great. The next logical question is, how much do I offer? What if it's a house? What if it's land? What if it's a 3-bed, 2-bath? What if it's a 2-bed, 1-bath? What if it's a quarter acre lot? What if it's a 3/4 of an acre lot? Those questions are going to get answered today. All right. Now I'm going to dive into some of the heart of what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm going to go into teach mode here for a little bit and talk about analyzing houses. Now, listen, team, we are going to have a house path in this challenge, and we are going to have a land path. Some of you are houses only. Some of you are land only. Some of you are walking in both lanes. All 3 answers to that. If you're house only, land only, or doing both, welcome. You're in the right spot. All right. But sit tight, and I'm going to be really clear here, because I'm going to talk houses for a bit. Then Joe's going to talk land. And so we want to be really clear about which property type we're addressing. All right. When we go to analyze house deals, all right, we're looking for 2 anchors. And an anchor is a data point that we can use to run math off of. Okay. So the 2 most common exit strategies, or I should say strategies, when investors buy houses. Number 1, fix and flip. These are all the cool TV shows. Buy it, renovate it, sell it. Short-term real estate investing. I'm going to buy, I'm going to fix it up, I'm going to put it back on the market. Okay. Long-term real estate investing, or the other common exit strategy, is buy and hold. This is where landlords buy property. They're going to buy it, renovate it if necessary, but the goal is to place a tenant to generate long-term cash flow. All right. Short-term real estate investing, we call fix and flip. Long-term real estate investing for houses, we call buy and hold. We've all heard of these. The anchors for both of these methods are different. On a fix and flip, like the TV shows, everything hinges on the anchors, the ARV. Many of you have heard that term, after repaired value. What is this property worth once it's been fixed up? And then we take that number and we work backwards to determine what would I be willing to pay for it. Okay. On a rental property, on a buy and hold property, the anchor is gross monthly rents. And again, it's a data point. We can go into FreedomSoft and look up an after repaired value, look up comps. We can also go into FreedomSoft and look up rental comps. We'll cover that in the days coming. All right. So we can go to a data point. You don't work off a hunch here. No gut feeling and no hunch, right? There's no, I feel like this property would be worth this. That's not how it works. We're going to go to data. Okay. And then we go to that anchor data point, and then we work backwards in both scenarios here to determine what could we pay and what would our offer be. All right. So let me do it right. I'm going to dive into some of the details here. So now we have fix and flip and buy and hold. Now we're talking about after repaired value on a fix and flip. And the way the math works, all right, the way these formulas break down is we take our after repaired value, and then we subtract out the closing costs when we buy the property, because there are closing costs and title fees when you purchase real estate. And then we subtract out the holding and the loan costs. All right. Maybe it was hard money. Maybe it was private money. Maybe it was bank financing that was borrowed to do the deal, but that money comes with a cost tied to it. An interest rate for sure, maybe points. Okay. So there's some expense in the money. Then once it's repaired and we list it, we again have costs of sale On the closing, right? Any of you that have done a fix and flip, you know how this works. You pay a real estate agent, likely 2 real estate agents, listing agent, the buyer's agent. Again, you have title fees, you have a portion of your property taxes. All that stuff gets built in at the closing, right? So again, we have some cost of sale. Now we also have to pull out the repair cost. Was it a minor fix-up project where it was, 20 to 25,000, or was it a major project, right? 80,000, 150,000, $200,000 renovation? That all comes off as a part of the math, minus the profit. Nobody's buying and selling real estate just for the heck of it, right? We're investors are involved in real estate to make money. We're not ashamed of that. That's why we should be here, to make money. So the goal in a fix and flip is I'm going to buy it and renovate it and then sell it for a high enough price where after I've paid off all these expenses, there's profit left over. That's the way that game works, okay? So what that then gets us to is what we call a MAO, right? Not the delicious white stuff you put on your sandwich, the MAO, the max allowable offer, all right? Industry speak, the MAO. What would the max allowable offer be? Now, if you are the person doing the fix and flip, that's a ballpark price that you would likely be willing to pay. If you are a wholesaler in the transaction, you're going to take that MAO, that max allowable offer, and then you're going to subtract out your desired wholesale fee, and that's where your offer would be. So if I'm looking at a property and Joe is one of my fix and flip buyers, and I run the math and I say, hey, I think Joe would be willing to spend or would be willing to pay $120,000 for this fix and flip project based on how much work it needs in the ARV. If I'm the wholesaler, then I'm thinking, okay, I'd like to make 10 grand on this, which means I got to get it under contract for 110. So I can mark it up to 120, sell it to Joe for that price, then he can go renovate it and sell it. All right. So the MAO, the max allowable offer, is through the end buyer's eyes. That's important. If you're a wholesaler listening to this, your offer needs to be lower than the MAO. All right. So we take all this math, not overly complicated, but this is the realistic math. And we get down to max allowable offer minus desired wholesale fee equals your offer price. All right. Now let's flip over to rents. This one is slightly more complicated, but I promised you yesterday that we're not doing anything more than middle school math, and we're not. The way it works on a rental is we take the gross monthly rents. All right. Because again, the strategy is different. When a landlord goes to buy a rental property, what they're thinking is, how much income could this house produce for me month after month after month in rental income? All right. And so we're going to take gross rents, the anchor. All right. And what you see at the top of the slide here is annual rent. Well, annual rent is nothing more than gross monthly rent times 12. So if you have a property that rents, the gross rent is $1,000 a month, annual rent is 12,000. Again, we're keeping this very, very simple. Okay. So rents times 12 is our annual rental number, the anchor. Now we're going to take out 70% of that times 70%. And the reason that we do that is because it's about 30% in overhead to operate rental properties, right? That's the rule of thumb math. Now you're thinking, well, Mike, is it more than 30% in some areas? Yes. Is it less than 30% in other areas? Yes. But as a rule of thumb, I'm showing you the quick math. As a rule of thumb, it's about 30%. And you see on the screen there, it says TIMV, TIMMV. It's an acronym: taxes, insurance, management, maintenance, vacancy. All right. When you own a rental, property taxes are still due. You still have to insure it. Management, right? You likely pay 8, 9, 10% to a property manager. The second M is for maintenance. When you own rental property over time, you will have maintenance expenses. And then vacancy. Again, when you own real estate over time, rental property, it won't be occupied 100% of the time. So we take out 30%. Then you divide that number by your desired annualized rate of return. Rate of interest. Do you want to earn a 9% return on your investment, a 10%, a 14%? And what you'll find is, as a rule of thumb, as neighborhood grade gets better, right, that oftentimes that expected rate of return kind of comes down. And this is no different than, risk in a stock or anything else. As risk comes down, return tends to come down. If you're operating in higher risk areas and neighborhoods, that expected rate of return goes up. So it's not fixed rate where everybody just says, yeah, I just want to make 9% on my rental properties. That's not how it works. Depends where the property is. And so what happens now in this math is you take your gross annual rents times 70% divided by your desired rate of return, or you can call it a cap rate. all right? Minus closing costs. Again, we're buying real estate. We still have a title company or a closing attorney involved, all right? They still get paid for what they bring to the equation. We still have potentially loan costs, right? Do we have borrowed money that we're using to buy this rental property? We still potentially have repair costs. Now, sometimes you can buy a fixed up house and rent it. Sometimes you can buy a fixed up house with a tenant already in place. But you may be buying, even if you're a landlord, you may be buying a property that needs some work and say, hey, I can get it at a good price. I'll renovate it, and then I'll look to place a tenant. Happens all day, every day. Okay, so again, we're evaluating the entire deal. So the repair costs come out, and we once again land on Mayo, max allowable offer on a rental. Wholesalers, you determine what the Mayo is for your end buyer, for your landlord buyer. You back out your wholesale fee. That's where your offer price goes. So as you can see, team, it's not overly complicated math, all right? But it's math nonetheless. And what we're doing is we're intelligently thinking about all the different costs and expenses that go into the transaction. And then we're taking an anchor after repaired value on a fix and flip, gross rents on a rental, and we work backwards to determine, here's what I think a buyer would be willing to pay the Mayo. And then as a wholesaler, my offer price is lower than that, so I can mark the deal up to them and get paid. All right? Everybody on the same page with me. Not complicated, but we're bringing in multiple factors here. Okay? Let's put numbers to it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but let's show some actual numbers. And I've flipped, I don't know, a couple hundred houses at least. I lost count a long time ago. But these are real world numbers. I didn't pull these from a specific address, but these are ballpark numbers so you can see how this comes together. Okay? 160,000. Let's say we have an after repaired value. So fully fixed up, we think the property's worth 160 grand. Okay? Closing costs on the buy side, $1,500. Maybe a little bit high on an estimate, but a good estimate nonetheless. All right? Holding and loan costs. Again, we're going to have some cost to the money or the financing. All right? Closing costs and costs of sale on the selling side. Now, remember, when it's listed, I likely have a listing agent involved, paying them for the listing. I'm going to have to pay the buyer's agent as well. All right? And so roughly 10% on the back end. So $16,000, as you can see, obviously is 10% of 160 grand. Okay. Repair costs. This was kind of a light cosmetic fix up, $20,000 in repairs to get it ready to be listed on the market. All right. Desired profit, 20 grand. Total cost, you can see right there, $60,500. So we subtract those out. The Mayo max allowable offer is $99,500. And if I have a desired $5,000 wholesale fee, my offer as the wholesaler is $94,500. So again, not overly complicated. Now we're just putting actual numbers to the previous slides when we went through the math. All right. Next one, buy and hold. We have a property that rents for $1,500 a month, depending on the market, probably a 3-1, 3-2 in multiple cities across the country. All right. Probably a B grade neighborhood, rent for $1,500 a month. Annual rents, 1,500 times 12, $18,000. All right. Net annual rents. So 18,000 times our 70% to take out the 30% in overhead. Our net annual rent number is 12,600. Let's say we have a desired 2-digit rate of return. We want to make 10% on our capital invested into this thing. So we take 12,600 divided by 10%, all right, is 126,000. Now we're still going to back out closing costs when we buy it. $2 grand in holding costs, all right. It needs $20,000 in repairs. So our total costs there are $23,500, all right. So again, we take the 126,000 minus the 23,500, and our Mayo, our max allowable offer on this rental that we think will rent for $1,500 a month is $102,500. Again, we have our $5,000 wholesale fee, and the offer would come in as the wholesaler at $97,500. Okay. So team, teaching you what the basic numbers are, and not just basic, the accurate numbers are, putting some real world numbers and examples to them, and determining $97,500. All right. Now, if this were the method that we were bringing to the table, you would think, whoo, okay, So I got to figure out what's the after repaired value, how much work do I think it needs, how do I estimate the cost of repairs, what am I going to do there, do I have to get pictures, do I have to send somebody through it, and all these questions start popping up in your head. All right, so watch this. Now I'm going to show you the simple way. Here's the deal. Here's what we found. If I just show you the simple way, some of you are like, there's no way it can be that easy. Yeah, actually it is. And we're going to prove it. I'm going to prove it because I just showed you the complicated way. And now I'm going to give you the simple formula that gets you in the ballpark. Because what you need to understand is making offers is not an exact game. It's not like, $67,000 works for the property, but $68,000 doesn't. That's not how it works. We just need to be in the ballpark with our offer price. And Joe brought this up early on. If we need to adjust it during an inspection period, so be it. Look to adjust it. But this is not exact. So he was talking about don't be afraid to make a mistake. And I'm gonna reiterate what he said. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Mike, but what if my offer's off by $5,000? Send it. You can adjust later if you need to. All right. It's not an exact science. Okay. So watch this. What's the simple method? What's that?
Isn't that because I was watching you talk about all those numbers? It was stressing me out. Does anybody relate to that? Were any of you guys like, oh my gosh, all of this? What's a TIMMR and what's ROI?
What's a TIMB?
What's right. MAO and mayonnaise? Like what? Relax. We wanted to show you intentionally the hard way to do it. And, it's good eventually to learn that. Right. But there's a much easier way, and you have to just trust the system. Don't stress out about, oh, what if I make a mistake? We're going to show you now the simple, easy way to do it. And then we're even still going to show you a simpler way to do it later on. But we're not about perfection here, right? We talked about this. We're about progress, not perfection. And so, okay, cool. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and there isn't a quote-unquote perfect offer.
Yes.
Team, it doesn't exist. Buyers do different things with the property you sell them.
Yeah,
right.
And this is
go ahead.
We want to get the phone to ring, right? So we want to send offers so we can talk to them. And so sometimes it's good to have an offer that's too high because then they'll call you, right? And then when you get them on the phone, you just start asking them questions. Well, maybe I can pay you $96,000. Let me ask you some questions about the property. And then you can dig into it and get a little bit more. But the point is to send an offer so we're not dealing with a bunch of sellers calling us that are not motivated. If we're in the ballpark, they're going to call us. So we're talking to more qualified sellers. The reason why we're sending the offers initially like this is so that we can kind of pre-screen the sellers that want full price for their property. Okay. All right.
That's right. So team, on the screen in front of you is the quick formula. And this is why we've been saying your 8, 9, 10-year-olds can handle this. What's the after repaired value? 160,000. Multiply it by 60%. So if I go through all the complicated math, I end up at 94.5. If I go through the quick, simple rule of thumb math, I end up at 96,000. All right? $1,500 difference. You can make either offer. That's what I'm saying. You just have to be in the ballpark.
Yeah. And so Chris, I need to emphasize this because Chris brings a good question up here. He says, well, what happens if the repair costs are $50,000? How do you adjust it then? Well, that's when you get them on the phone. Yep. And you just say, you know what? This house actually needs more work than I thought it was going to need. So I'm going to need to adjust my offer a little bit. Let me just ask you some questions. What do you think it would take to get this house fixed up? And you say, well, I'd love to offer you the $96,000, but it's going to have to be a little bit, unfortunately, because it's going to need more repairs than I had estimated. So then you could go into asking them the questions. But yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what inspection periods are for. And we're going to talk about that more tomorrow when we actually look at the paperwork that I'm going to go through with you and Joe's going to go through with you.
Yeah.
But you're not.
And the land is even easier because you don't have to worry about repair costs, right? You don't have to worry about holding costs. You don't have to worry about, what was I going to say? Well, those kinds of things, right? Where it's a lot simpler with land. And our contracts are contingent on what? An inspection, maybe a verification, due diligence. Rob's may have 30 days. My land contracts has 90 days.
Yep.
So you have time to verify these numbers and go back
That's
and renegotiate if you have to.
That's what everybody needs to hear is when the contract goes out, you have time built into it.
Yes.
Right? That'll be by design, and we'll unpack that in more detail tomorrow. So whoever asked that, it's a great question. But team, back to the formula. After repaired value times 60%, right? Game on. That's about as fast as it gets. Now I could look at a property, figure out what the ARV is, and literally in less than 10, 20 seconds, I know what my offer price is if I'm going down the manual path. This is not complicated. Don't overcomplicate it. All right? ARV times 60%. Now, let me show you this one. Same thing. What's the after repaired value of the house? Even if it's a rental, but Mike, this one's a rental. Doesn't matter. What's the after repaired value of the house? Times 60%. When we went through the complicated math on the rental, we got to 97.5. We take the ARV of the same property, right? And we multiply it by 60%, we get $96,000, and we're well within the ballpark. And the offer goes out the door at $96,000, and you've put all of 30 seconds into this. Okay? So team, again, we're bringing you a system. And here's why I explain this. And we have to show the long way and the complicated way. Because for some of you, I show up and I was like, hey team, here's what you do. Take the ARV of the property, multiply it by 60%. Right? A bunch of you on here listening in would like that inner skeptic would kick in, and you'd say there's no way it's that simple. Yeah, actually it is. It is that simple. And we just put actual real world numbers to it to show you that it's that simple. All right? So very, very simple. What's the value? What do we think it's worth fixed up? Times 60%. Anybody can remember it and anybody can do it. All right? Now, Joe, take the baton, and Joe's going to talk land.
Yeah, just go to the next slide. You can flip slides for me, but this is kind of like the math for vacant land, right? And I can show you in a minute here. Mike and I will do an example real quick in a minute, but basically you kind of like look to see, all right, to get their quote unquote ARV, the value of the property, right? Even though it's not after repair, there's no repairs we do for land, but we want to make sure when we're advertising our property, if it's land, you want to make sure you're the cheapest land out there, right? You want to make sure that when somebody's looking for land in that area, you're going to be at the top of the list. You're going to be the cheapest property. So you can just take an average of the lowest three and multiply that by some kind of discount, 15%, 10%, and you come up with the list price. All right. So the average of the lowest threes is 19 grand. I'm going to list mine for 16 grand. Maybe you could change that discount to 5% or something like that, but you're going to come up with a list price. And then you subtract your profit. You're going to hopefully, maybe, if you want, pay a realtor to sell the property for you. I pay real generous 10% commissions. Sometimes I offer realtors a bonus, and you can throw that in. Sometimes if I know I'm going to borrow private money to hold this deal for a couple months while I sell it, I'll put the private money interest in there. I have an oops factor, usually $1,000. Subtract maybe $500 for photos. If there's any back taxes, you can subtract that, and then you subtract closing costs, and you come up with an offer. All right. So that's a lot of math in there, right? You can and I didn't even show, like, you average the lowest three, you discount that a little bit, maybe 5 or 10%, 15%. You come up with a list price. You subtract all of your costs to come up with your offer. Or next slide, you can just take that list price times 40% to come up with your offer. Okay. There's also another way, we're going to show this to you later, where you could get maybe the average price per acres in that area from recent sold data and multiply that by a number to come up with your offers again. But that's the math way and the easy way. Just look at, and we'll show you in a second here in an example, some examples. Just look at in this area, what are properties selling for, that are similar in size, that are currently actively listed for. Just take an average of the lowest three times 85% times 90% or something. That's the price you're going to list it for. And then multiply that by a simple number like 40%, and that's your offer.
But that's Joe, it can't be that simple.
Well, it really is. I don't know what else to say. That's how, like, I've told this many times with my boys. This is exactly what we did. My boys and I'm not making any income claims or guarantees here, right? But We did about $153,000 in a couple years doing this very, very part-time with my 2 teenage sons at the time.
Yep.
And all we did is we sent out postcards. We got responses in. We listened to my boys would listen to the voicemail. They would go to Zillow and Redfin and see what properties are selling for there. They'd get an average price per acre. Ours was 2 acres, so we'd multiply that by 2, and we would just go that number times 30% or 40%, depending on the market we were in. And that was the offer.
Yep.
And my boys would send hundreds of offers, my teenagers.
Yep.
And then we would get a certain number of them accepted. It's just a numbers game.
Love it. So team, it is that simple. Here's what we just covered: the complicated way and the simple way, the simple formula for houses. And then Joe just brought up the more complicated math. And here's the reason we brought it up. When we give you the simple formula, we're not leaving anything out, right? We wanted you to see that all of the relevant numbers for a house or for a land deal are accounted for in the quick math. So isn't that good to know that you can now come to the table, and it doesn't matter if you just heard about real estate and the 100 offer challenge, 24, 48 hours ago, you can show up and you can absolutely participate and do this, because we're showing you these are realistic numbers, and here's what it looks like the complicated way, and we can boil it all down to a very, very simple formula. All right. ARV times 60% for a house, list price times 40% on a piece of land. Okay. Here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to switch screens and I'm going to go into FreedomSoft. Okay. So team, here's another one of these places where I need you to pay attention to what's going on here. So I'm going to be really, really clear. I am going to walk through houses and house offers first. All right. So we showed you the math on houses and land. I'm going to go into the house list that we built yesterday. And I'm going to show you first the manual method of how to calculate an offer. And then I'm going to show you the automated method on how to calculate an offer. All right. And then I'm going to hand the baton back to Joe once again. And he is going to share his screen in FreedomSoft. And he's going to work off the land list that we built yesterday down in Lee County, Florida. And he is going to show you a manual method on how to come up with an offer. And we're going to talk about the automated method in FreedomSoft on how to come up with an offer.
I love it. Who's
right?
all in? Type I'm all in the comments right now. I want to make sure you guys are awake.
That's right.
You guys awake?
This is where, all right, we've shown you why the formulas work. Now we're going to go apply them. And the steps that we're about to go through are going to be your homework tonight. And again, they are not complicated. David's all in. I love it. Let's see. William, Utah, all in. Okay. I love seeing the comments. This is killer.
Let's go.
So team, pay attention. It's not complicated. Just pay attention. All right. So here we go. I'm back in this exact same FreedomSoft account. I'm going to come up here to the leads tab, and I'm going to click on my list. And here are the 2 lists that we built yesterday. First, we built a house list, all right, in St. Louis County. And then we built a land list in Lee County, Florida. I'm going to click into the house list, all right? And so there's this pie chart. We actually call this the visual leads dashboard. This will really come together day 3 and day 4, all right? So sit tight. I will explain exactly what we're looking at. But right now, we have a brand new list of prospects. There are 1,295, and all of these prospects own property in the top 10 zip codes that we picked out in St. Louis County, actually that Zip Finder picked out for us. I'm going to come right over here and click View All, all right? And team, I'm going to start at the top of the list. I'm just going to start at the top, and I'm going to click into this property, all right? So here's our property address, 6313 St. Louis Avenue, Missouri, right? St. Louis, Missouri, 63121. It's owned by 241 Community Land Trust, okay? Now, in FreedomSoft, for a house, we have this big blue button over here that says View Snapshot, all right? One of your best friends in FreedomSoft on the house side of things.
This is so awesome. You guys added this a year ago or something? It's insane.
It is insane. Okay. Here's the number we're looking for. Now, there is a ton of information in here. We're going to keep this really, really, really simple today. By the way, rental comps. I'm sorry, sold comps, rental comps, public record information. But here's the thing. It's dangerous for me to show you all this because some of you are going to get stuck in here And I'm gonna simplify this way down for you. Are you ready? Right up here in the upper left-hand corner, FreedomSoft has an algorithmic value that it puts on the property, $84,257. Where is it getting that number? From all these sold properties in the area that are nearby. All right, it's not guessing. There's an algorithm that's pulling it. Think similar to a Zillow's estimate. All right, now team, here's what we're going to do. This is the manual method in FreedomSoft in this challenge. Are you ready? I'm going to take $84,000, and I've got my phone right here, and I'm going to open up the calculator, and I'm going to type in 84,000. Now watch this. That's the FreedomSoft estimate of value. I'm going to copy the address. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to open up a new browser tab, and I'm going to go to Zillow. All right? And I'm going to paste that address in Zillow. Now, live television, Zillow isn't finding this address, which is not common at all.
It's a new construction. I think that might be
St.
why.
Louis. Okay, it's not finding it. I'm glad this came up because, oh crap, Zillow doesn't have the address. What the heck am I going to do, Mike? I'm going to come right back here to FreedomSoft, and I'm going to take $84,000 times 0.6 is $50,400. And I'm going to close out the snapshot, and I'm going to come right down here. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of this record, this seller record in FreedomSoft. And when you're a part of this challenge, you should have 100 offer, we buy, letter and offer. All right. If you don't see these fields in your account, you can email support@freedomsoft.com and our team will get you set up, but they should be in there. All right. Now, offer price. What did I say? $50,400. $50,400. It goes in offer price. For those of you with Market Analyzer and who will pick up Market Analyzer today, sit tight. I'm going to talk to you about the dynamic offer in a second. But for those of you who are on the manual path, all right, you are going to find your field called offer price, and you are going to put in $50,400. Now, you are going to head back up to the very top of this record, and I want you to do one more thing before you save it. Right over here above status, between status and the address, there's a little gray box. And if I put the mouse, right, my little cursor over that gray box, all these different color options drop down. And what I want you to do here for the homework today is I want you to turn them green. So when you have added in an offer price, I want you to turn it green. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to save it. All right. Now, team, watch this. When I go back into my same list where I just started and I click view all, I now see over here on the left-hand side that this one's green. The reason I want you to turn them green is because your homework today is going to be to turn 30 addresses green. 30. These are going to be your first 30 offers that go out. All right. Now, the reason you're going through these, and again, if you're on the manual path, if you see a house and it pulls up like the Zillow Street View or whatever, and it's half burnt to the ground, skip it. Go to the next one. So it may not be the first 30 houses in a row, right? You may skip a couple here or there. That's fine. If it is the first 30, great. That works. And then what I did, see how I have this offer price over here? I went over, and you can edit in FreedomSoft, quick little side note, you can edit these column headers. And so you click on that little gray gear right there, and they're listed in alphabetical order. All right. And so all you do is grab the one you want. Somehow I have 2 offer price fields in this account. Either way, it works. And you just drag it up into the header bar, and it'll drop it wherever you see the blue post. So all I did was grab offer price, drag it up in there, and click save changes. And now I love this setup. I can see that it's green, and I can see the offer price over here. All right, let's do the next one. So here we go. 3122 Lucas and Hunt Road, owned by 3122 LH LLC. I'm going to click View Snapshot. So here's a picture of the house. Also, I don't want you to get caught up in this, but that little icon right there will pull up the Google Street View. All right, so if you want to go cruise around via Google, you can blow it up, make it full screen right there. Okay. Quick little side note, these little icons, give you some clue as to why the seller may be motivated, absentee owner, tired landlord, vacant, high equity, cash buyer. All right. So you can glance at those if you want to. But the number that we're looking for is right here, 83,655. Grab my calculator, 83,655. Now, I'm going to copy the address. I'm going to go back into Zillow. I'm going to paste the address. There's my property. Most will also come up in Zillow. So it was kind of cool that that first one wasn't in here. As an example, I'm going to run a search for it. Now, the Zillow's estimate is 66,500. So I'm going to take an average of the two numbers. The FreedomSoft estimate was 83,655. The Zillow's estimate is 66,500. So I take 83,655 plus 66,500 equals 150,155. Now I'm going to divide that by 2 to get the average. So the average is 75,000. All right. Times 60%. $45,046. I'm going to call it an even 45 grand. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to come all the way down to the bottom and I'm looking for my offer price field right there. And I'm going to put in 45,000. All right. And I'm going to come up to the top and two things are going to happen. I'm going to turn it green and I'm going to click save. All right.
Now, Mike, just so
Yes.
we're clear too, a lot of these folks will have my signature edition of FreedomSoft.
Okay.
And so the field will be a little different where it goes. So I'll show that to you in the way I do it. But Henry, since Henry, you're listening here, send me a message of what field that needs to go into when I demo this. Because we talked about this earlier, but I just want to clarify this, Henry. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Yep, perfect. Team, folks on the manual path. That is it. This will literally take you 30 seconds per house. Okay? Here's the very simple math. You're going to click into the property record. And by the way, once you're in this one, you can just click next if you want to. All right? You're going to pop open the snapshot, big blue button. You're going to grab, obviously, a different neighborhood and price point. You're going to grab the FreedomSoft estimate of value. You're then going to copy. Now, this one's unit H. If you decide you're not interested in a unit, I'd skip it and go to the next one. If you want to make an offer on a condo or townhome like this, great. Grab the FreedomSoft estimate of value. Grab the Zillow's estimate. Average the two. All right? Use that as your value number, your ARV, multiply it by times 60%. Enter the number in and turn it green. So folks on the manual path, right? When your homework is done tonight, you will have inside of your list, you will have 30 addresses that are color-coded green, and all of those with the green color code are going to have an offer price tied to them. That's the end of the homework for today, the manual method, all right? Okay. Team, I'm going to transition and I'm going to talk about Market Analyzer. Quick, all right? Now we'll
talk about doing this with land.
The automate. Yep, we're still on houses. Automation for houses, right? Sit tight with us. And then Joe's going to talk about land here in just a minute. So I gave you a sneak peek at the end of yesterday, and a bunch of you went out and bought Market Analyzer, which I told you early on today was well played, because watch what this thing does. Inside the Market Analyzer, first, it's going to analyze the market. But then what's also in the Market Analyzer is the dynamic bid generator that will go in and generate your offer prices. All right. So here's how this works. I'm going to come up here to Tools, and I'm going to click Market Analyzer. And I showed you this briefly yesterday, but what I did to get St. Louis in here is I clicked New Market. So watch how easy this is. Let's say I want to analyze Denver. Spell it right. So Denver, Colorado. And I'm doing houses. Joe will talk land here in a second. The state is Colorado, and I'm going to come down here and do Denver County. I can just leave it on the Denver MSA as well. Let's just do that. So I'm going to go Denver, Aurora, Lakewood, and I click Analyze. And the analyzer goes to work. Typically, it'll take it just a couple minutes. Nope, it didn't even take it that. It took it a couple seconds. Okay, so you see, I wanted to show you how quick it was. I'm going to go back into the St. Louis one. So team, this takes pricing data in all these different zip codes, all right? And then watch what it does. I'm going to go down to the top zip code is 63136. And I could sort by this. I'm just going to cruise down. These are listed in numerical order. Okay, so watch what this says. 63136. Now it's showing me all the different property configurations and what the different property configurations are trading hands at. This is a price per square foot over here. All right. If you have some kind of intel, we do give you the ability, if you need to. It's not super common, but sometimes you may want to go in and override one of these. But this is calculating right off the data. Of the 3 ones that have been bought and sold, or I should say bought in 63136, they're trading hands. They're being bought at $58.84 a foot. All right. And it breaks down each individual zip code for you. Okay. Now, for those of you that picked up Market Analyzer yesterday, and for those of you that are going to pick it up today, right over here, this is really key. You're going to click on settings. It's that little gray gear. All right. And what I did was, you have 2 options here on houses. You can put in your wholesale fee. I put in $10,000, and your estimated repair cost. And I put in 20. Now, 20 is low for some properties, but it's high for others. So I picked a middle of the road amount, right? If you wanted to make it 30,000, you just change it. Okay. So you're going to enter in your 2 numbers, average wholesale fee that you're looking to make and your average repair cost. Okay. So I just put in, I'm just going to change it to 30 and I click save changes because I want you to see how easy it is to add and then update if you want to update it. All right. Now, if you want to look at a specific zip code, you can do that up here. Yeah. If you want to check out market graphs, you can do that. And it's going to show you different price point by some of the different zip codes. All right. And so team, it's called the Market Analyzer. It analyzes your market and it spits out some data for you. All right. But watch this. Now that I have St. Louis analyzed and I have a list in St. Louis of houses, I can go back into my list and I click back into it and I come over here and I click view all. All right. And now I'm just going to grab a handful here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you can select. So team, let me be really clear. For those of you that have Market Analyzer, either you got it yesterday or you're going to get it today. Your homework, you're going to go analyze your market where you built your list. And that's going to take a handful of seconds. And then you're going to select your first 30 records. These are listed 20 per page, right? So if I want to select the page, I can just click this little icon right here. So literally your homework is going to be done in about 30 seconds, give or take. All right. So select the records that you want to generate the offer for. Okay. Now I want to turn them green and I want to run, I want to generate offers. So in this case, I just picked 4 of them. All right. So once you have them selected, in your case, 30, big orange button, I come right down here to color code. What color do I want them? Whoops. I lost it. I want them green. So now they're green. And then I leave them selected. And I come right down here and I click generate offers. Okay. And then FreedomSoft says, which market do I want to use? And I'm going to use my St. Louis one. All right. I have multiple in St. Louis that I hid, so ignore those. This is the one that I just showed you all, St. Louis houses. And I click the blue button. And within, it doesn't take it typically very long. It does depend a little bit on how many records you select. But FreedomSoft is now working behind the scenes and crunching the math and generating my offers. Okay. So team, I'm going to review this and then I'm going to hand the baton over to Joe on land. But on houses, the manual method is as simple as this. Open the property snapshot in FreedomSoft and get the FreedomSoft estimate of value. Jot it down or put it in the calculator on your phone. Copy the address over into Zillow. Look it up and grab the Zillow Zestimate. All right. Get the average. So, right, if you forgot middle school math, add the two numbers together and then divide by 2 to get the average. That's what you're going to use as the value, the ARV. Multiply that times 60%. Enter it in as the offer. Okay. For the folks who picked up Market Analyzer yesterday and all of those today, who now that you've seen it, because it's going to do this with land as well, you know you're going to pick it up. You are simply going to analyze your market wherever you built your list, house list or land list. Tell FreedomSoft to analyze your market for houses or land. All right. And then once that is done, you're just going to click into your list, select your first 30, turn them green, and run the dynamic bid. Okay. So I'm going to click refresh on this screen really quick. And those are all done. And my offers for these 4 properties were dynamically generated by the bid generator. All right. Manual method for houses, automated method for houses. And I know you're seeing the power in the automation. All right. Joe,
Awesome.
are you ready to take it? And
yeah, I'm ready.
Houses?
Go ahead and share my screen.
Awesome. Here we go. I'm going to swap just like that. And you're live.
Boom. All right. So we're going to do this for land now. Remember, we created a list last time for Lee County, and I had I redid it here, and I have about 1,000 records and lists in here. I'm just going to open up view all. And Mike, please update me or say, hey, you missed a step or something like that.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Let's just look at the first one here. This is the address of the property right here. I'm going to copy to clipboard. Now, remember, with land, we don't get zestimates of value, right? And FreedomSoft doesn't give you an estimate of the value because land is just a little different. So we're going to do a little extra step here. But this is a property. This, if you don't, sometimes some vacant land doesn't have an address. So you're just going to go and copy the GPS coordinates, put that into Google Maps, find an address of a nearby property, and then we're going to go and look it up in Redfin. But this property, this vacant lot, actually has an address. So I'm just going to copy that address, going to go to Redfin. You can do this in Zillow or Redfin. Maybe I'll show you both. Let's put the property in there. Let's look it up. And remember our little formula we did. We want the average of the lowest active listings in the area. So I'm just going to, this is that property right here. I'm going to click on this little map. I'm going to click on new search right here in Redfin. And what it does is it puts my property right there in the center of that map. And then I'm just going to go quick right here, create some filters. So we're looking at, and I want to look at pendings, for sale, active pendings. And I'm going to go home type land. Now our little property we're looking at here is 0.32 acres, right? So in Redfin, I might do a filter here for show me all of the lots that are between 9,500 square feet and half an acre. So I'm not looking at really tiny properties or really big ones. All right, so I've got 32 vacant lots just in this window currently for sale, right? I want to be the cheapest. So I'm going to sort this from low to high. Okay, look, I've got 3 solds here for 17,900. So I'm just going to take my calculator and I'm going to total those up and get an average. All right, 17,900 plus 17,900 plus 17,950 divided by 3. So the average is 17,916. I'm just going to multiply that by 90% times 0.9. All right, so I come up with this number. I'm going to list my property for 16,125. And then I take that number, we're going to do 40% times 0.4. It comes up with 6,450. So on this property, I'm going to offer 6,450. Now, similar to what Mike had, if you had my signature edition of FreedomSoft, you're going to have, if you scroll down from here, you're going to see financials offers right here. And then there's this field called initial offer. And I'm just going to put that in there. 6,450. That's it. All right. We're going to change this to green. We're ready to go. That's what the blind offer is going to be. 6,450. So again, I found the property in Redfin, and we'll do another example here. I'm going to click on that little map button, click on new search. It puts my property right in the center. And then I'm going to set my filters over here on the right. I want to look at actives and pendings. I want to make sure I'm only looking at land. I might go in and set a filter for lot size, maybe 9,500 square feet to maybe half acre. Your lot, maybe you might do between 1 acre and 10 acres or something like that. And then I'm going to sort it from low to high and zoom out. If I want more, if I have too many, I zoom in. Let me show you real quick how to do this on Zillow. It's the same thing. I'm going to type in that address on Zillow. It takes me to that property. I'm going to X out of here, and my property is right in the center of this map. I'm looking at for sale. I want land only. And under more, I want to look at pendings and accepting back. So I'll look at those three. I want to make sure lot size, maybe I'll do 7,500 square feet to half an acre. And days on Zillow, I want any. Apply, and I'm just going to zoom out. I might remove boundary right there. And I just sort it from price low to high. So I have 21 comps right there. Again, I want to make sure mine's the cheapest. So you take the lowest three, you average them, multiply that, let's say by 90%. And then you take that number times 40%. That's going to be my initial offer. And you put that right here in this field called initial offer. All right, let's do one more. Let's go back to my list here, view all. Again, remind me if I'm doing something wrong. And there's the column headers. Remember, you can add the column headers just by clicking that gray icon right there. So I have one here, and I'm going to show you that a dynamic offer in a minute, like Mike was just doing. So let's go to the next one. This is a 0.26 acre vacant lot. And I also see I have my GPS coordinates here, and I have an address. But let's say there is no address. Maybe it's
good
just
call, Joe. That's perfect. Use the coordinates on this one.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So let's say it doesn't have an address. So I'm just going to copy the GPS coordinates. I'm going to go to Google Maps, what I typically like to do, and I'm just going to paste the GPS coordinates, and it takes me right there. Now, it has an address right here, but let's say it didn't. All I do is I want to go and see, if I switch to satellite view, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, and I want to click on I'm going to click on a house that I know has an address. So I click on that house, and there's the address for that house right there. I'm going to copy that address. So you could be in the middle of the Colorado Rockies or in the middle of North Carolina, Tennessee, whatever. Sometimes you're not going to have an address. Copy the GPS coordinates, put it in Google Maps, and zoom out until you see a nearby property that has an address. Click on it, and Google Maps will give you an address for that property. All right, cool. Copy that address, and let's put this one in Redfin again. Let me go back to Redfin, the homepage. I'm going to paste that address of the neighbor's property. Now this is obviously not a vacant lot. This is a house. See, there's a house. I'm going to click on the map, and I'm going to click on new search. If you zoom in a little bit, my property was right about there. I'm just going to move it over a little bit because I want my vacant lot in the center of the map. And I want to look at pendings. I want to make sure I'm only looking at land. Boom, there we go. And I might set a filter. I might not, because all of these vacant lots are the same size approximately, right? And I'm going to sort from low to high, and I'm going to start zooming out. Zoom out. Now I got 12 comps. I could zoom out again if I wanted. Maybe that's too many. Okay. General rule of thumb, I need about 10. All right. And here I scroll down. Those are the lowest three sold. So let me average them out real quick from my calculator. 21,500 plus 21,900 plus 23,000 equals 66,400 divided by 3. So my average is 22,133. My average is 22,133. And I'm going to times that times 40%, times 0.4. So my offer is going to be 8,853. 8,853. That's it.
Hey, Joe, so last time you did times 90%, then times 40%.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that. Dang it. Okay. Yes. Sorry. 21, because I want my property to be the cheapest one, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
21,500 plus 21,900 plus 23,000 equals divided by 3. All right. So the average is 22,133. And I'm going to multiply that by 0.9. So I'm going to list mine for 19,900. Do you think if, somebody's looking for vacant land and they see that my property is listed for 19,900, it's probably going to get more interest than these. So I'm going to sell, my goal is to sell them fast. I want to price them cheap. All right. So I'm going to list mine for 19,920, and I'm just going to take that number times 0.4 to come up with 7,968. 7,968. All right. So let's put that right down. From here, you're going to scroll down and put it into the financial offers section, initial offer right there, 7,968. That's my initial offer. And I'm going to change it to green. So if I go back to my land here and look at this, I can see it's kind of a little bit hard to see, but there's two that are green right there. And I have my initials offers right there. All right, let's do the market analyzer real quick. So you're going to go to tools. If you, again, go upgrade to joemccall.com/fast, joemccall.com/fast to get this market analyzer. This is awesome. I'm just going to do a new one here real quick. We're going to call this Lee County, Florida, vacant land. We're looking at land. Go to Florida, county. We want Lee County. Oops. MSA County. There we go. Lee County. Analyze now. It takes just a minute. There it is. So it's got like 1,877 transactions in here that it's analyzing. And we're going to, this is what we did here. This is what you did, Mike, right? You change that to 40%?
Yep, 40 is the default. You can change it if you want, but it defaults to 40. Yep.
This is insane, guys. This is and FreedomSoft, the developers, the guys working behind the scenes have done a phenomenal job of setting this up. So basically, let me just tell you what this is doing. This is crazy. This is what Priced kind of did, but better, easier, and faster. So there's 1,800 transactions that's analyzed in here for the whole county, but you can also filter this by zip code. You can't see the zip code. When I click on drop down here for zip codes, all of the zip codes in Lee counties are here, but it's analyzed all of these and has come up with an average price per acre that investors are buying these properties at for all of these zip codes. And sometimes in some zip codes, you have residential land or preserve, or residential and industrial, or multifamily and residential. So like it will, and marsh shore. So it also breaks it down by the land type that it is. Okay. So price, now we're going to go right here to market graphs. It shows you most of them that are being bought are in the $20,000 to $40,000 price range there. Okay. And then by zip code, you see the most active zip code is 33993. That's good intel to know, isn't it? Right. Now we're going to click on the settings here, and we're just going to set an offer at 40%. You could change that if you find that maybe the dynamic offer is too high, you could change that to 30%. If you see it's too low, and you want more calls, maybe bump it up to 60%. That will get you more calls, and then you can talk to them on the phone to negotiate it down for a lower price if you want. All right, let's just keep it at 40%. Now, this is insane, guys. Watch this. I'm going to go back to lists. I'm going to view all of them. Let's just select the next, how many, Mike? 3?
Yeah.
All right. I select the next 3. I'm going to go here to more actions. I want to change the color now. So I always do that first. Color code, green. All right. So they just turned green and they're still selected. And I'm going to go to more actions, and I'm going to then go to generate offers. And I choose the market analyzer I just did. Click generate offers. Now it takes a minute because it's working in the background. I don't know how long it takes. It's really fast. Let me close out of there. Let me go back here, refresh my screen. All right, so it's going to take a minute. But what's going to be happening is it's going to show it up right here. If I hope I got the right column header in there. It's called
You
dynamic
should,
offer.
yep. You
Yeah.
should.
And you'll see the offer in there. And just like that, we're not looking for perfection here. We're not looking for, I'm okay if it's off. I'm okay if I'm offering too much. Or like, I just want them to get my offer and call me. And so instead of dealing with 100 sellers that are like, yeah, I'll sell my property for full price, just blah, 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 I'm now getting really good qualified people that are calling me because I'm in the ballpark of where because they just want to sell it quick. All right, let me refresh my screen. Oh, boom. Look at that, baby. Woo! Look at that. There it is right there. It just gave me the values just like that. And they're real close to what we did before. And you can always go into and change it. If you can see, oh, they're too high, go back to the market analyzer, open this one up, click on the settings, and change it to 30%. Save changes.
Yep.
All right. Then go back
and then,
to
Joe,
your list.
You could select those same 3 and rerun it if you want. It'll just redo it.
Let's do that.
Really, really simple.
I'm going to select these 3 and I rerun it. Generate offers. Choose the market analyzer, generate offers. And again, working in the background, it's going to drop. But whoa, come on. What? Are you serious? Now, both ways, remember I told you there's a hard way, which is those fancy, complicated spreadsheets and formulas and like, oh my gosh, freaking out. And there's the easy way where you just kind of look the property up here in Redfin, find it in the center of the map, zoom out, you get the lowest 3 here and you average them and you multiply it by 90%, multiply that by 40%. Or maybe just if you want it super fast, just take the average times 80 or take the average times 30% or 40, 35% or whatever. But or just get that market analyzer. Let's see if it's done it yet. Yeah, look, it bammed. It just bammed. It just created the lower offers here. Okay.
Rock and roll.
Hot diggity dog. I love this. I love it. So what's their homework tonight?
Yes. So
homework
team.
Today,
yep.
Easy.
That's what we're going to wrap up with. 2 distinct paths and then 2 paths within the paths, right? House path, land path. And then both of those have a manual method and an automated method. And clearly you saw the power. And I love all of you that bought Market Analyzer yesterday off of a quick little sneak peek. Here's what that tells me is you said, I got a sneak peek of automation. I know it's going to be killer. They can tell me more about it tomorrow, but I'm all in.
Hey,
so I just
show David Garrison's comment in my homework. David's already done the homework.
That's right. Team, that's the power of automation. Homework is done. We haven't even finished the training. So that is so killer. All right. I love it. Team, let's go back over here and we're going to finish this wrap up day 2. Now, Joe, you spoke to this early on and I had this built in, but you didn't know that I had this slide built in, which is fine. But Mike, Joe, what if we put a property under contract at a wrong price? I promise you, this is the next question that's on everybody's mind is, holy crap, I'm going to go send out offers. What if they accept it at the wrong price? We are going to dive into this a little bit more tomorrow. Joe talked about it today. At the end of the day, the paperwork that we're going to be sending out, the contract, all right, contract paperwork, same thing, has some wording in it on the house side and inspection period. Joe will explain the details on the land side, but you have the opportunity to renegotiate if you need to get out if you need to. All right. That is going to be a part of the paperwork. So what you
and let me add something to this.
Yeah.
Have you signed the contract yet? For a contract to be valid, it has to have 2 signatures on it, right? Only the seller has signed it. You have not signed it yet. So you don't have to ever sign it if it's a bad offer.
Right. So the point there is you have options. Yeah. All right. Understand that. We wouldn't send contracts out if we didn't have options. Okay. That's what I need you to understand at this point in time. Team, this is your homework, aside from David, who's already done. Get your offer price, manual or automated, preferably automated, right? You saw how simple that was. But when you show up, when your homework is done tonight, and when you prep for day 3 tomorrow, you should have inside your list, your house list or your property list. Now, if some of you are playing along with both, great. You're going to have green records inside both of them. Okay? But to be ready and to get the homework done tonight and to be prepped for tomorrow for day 3, you need to have 30 records inside your list that have the green color code, and all of them should have the offer price built in. All right? That is your homework for tonight. Now, I'm just prepping you. Tomorrow, first round of offers go out. So we told you yesterday, day 1, that we're going to eat this elephant one bite at a time, and we're going to do this in very simple steps that anybody can follow. And so that's what we're staying true to. So no need to get ahead of us. We're going to unroll this in the right order. But a couple things now. FreedomSoft access. Maybe you joined today. Maybe you're just now getting a hold of the link. And maybe you just found out about the challenge. Or you were one of those window shoppers and you said, yeah, I'm going to kind of tune in, but I don't know if I'm going all in. And now you've made your mind up that you're all in and you need FreedomSoft access. And I think you can see why. JoeMcCall.com/VIP. And then for the market analyzer and the automation and to get your homework done in 30 seconds, JoeMcCall.com/fast. We have a special price on it for challenge members that is heavily discounted from the normal price. So JoeMcCall.com/fast. Joe, anything else to say as we wrap up a fantastic day 2 here?
I just did my homework too. I just got it done. Remember, I told you guys I'm going to be doing this with you.
That's right.
So this market analyzer is game changer.
The power of technology. The power of technology and automation.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You're going to pay for this one way or the other, either with your time or paying your kids to do it or paying a virtual assistant to do it, or just getting the analyzer, the market analyzer, and click a button, boom, and it's done. And you do your homework in 30 seconds, just like I did. Good question, Reese. Why don't you answer that, Mike?
Yeah, it's one time. You unlock it for a one-time investment.
Yep.
Market analyzer. That's it.
Yeah.
Pay for it once. Use it for the rest of the time that you're an investor. All right. Yes, it'll be automatically added to your account. Yep. You got it. Yep.
Awesome, Lil. Hey, how you doing, Lil?
Yeah.
So tomorrow, we've had some questions in here. People asking, well, how do we send them the offers? We're going to walk through that tomorrow.
Promise. We're not going to leave. We're not going to leave you out. Right. Stay with us one day at a time. I know you're chomping at the bit, but when you do this in this order and you see these systems and why they're in place and how they work and how effective they are, right? We're going to go maybe a little bit slower than some of you would like to this week, but then you can go as fast as you want after this week is done. Just let us set it up for you so it's ready to go. All right. That said, I love that we have people on here chomping at the bit. Give me the next step. Give me the next
crazy. I love it. I love it. So again, guys, know your homework. And if you didn't do yesterday's homework, that's fine. Okay. Just watch the previous videos. Yep. The replays are in the membership area.
Yep. Get caught up for sure.
And if you need FreedomSoft, of course, just go to joemccall.com/VIP, get a $1 trial right there. But get in there, do your homework. Just pick a list, pick a county. Don't overanalyze it. maybe the most analyzing you should do is write down 5 potential counties and just look at which county has had the most solds in the last 90 days. Use that, do Zillow or Redfin. Which of these 5 counties you've written down have had the most solds in the last 90 days, and pick that one. Pick that county, go create a list inside of FreedomSoft. If it's 10,000 records, just pick 100 of them. All right. Create the list. Watch the video because we show you how to do that step by step yesterday. And then today, just make some offers. Just come up with some numbers, put them in there. Nice. Okay.
Love it. Joe, I think that's a wrap, team. The automation and the systems, and when you look at Market Analyzer today and think, oh, that's really cool, that's going to continue tomorrow when you see how we can automatically grab these offers that we now have into direct mail. So we are far from done. But that said, we've taken 2 really big steps forward with day 1 and now day 2.
Yeah.
You're in perfect position. Get the homework knocked out. You're in perfect position to come back tomorrow on day 3 and to pick up where we're leaving off today and to keep this thing moving through the week. So I want to applaud everybody for staying in, for being excited, for showing up. Nice job on making a decision to take action. And that's a wrap for day 2. Be on time tomorrow. We're going to jump right back in and pick this thing up on day 3. We have some killer automations that are coming your way tomorrow, so you don't want to miss it. So, Joe, I appreciate it, man. We'll chat again real soon, and that's a wrap.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, guys. All the guys at FreedomSoft, too, in the background watching this. Thank you so much. Love it.
All right. Take care, everybody.